session giving some information about funding opportunities. This is a kind of preparation to the matchmaking that will take place afterwards. The information on the different funding opportunities will be rather brief, so don't worry if you don't get all the details, because the important thing is to read the different call text and look into the programs. But we will start with EEA Norway grants, with some relevant calls related to circular economy, or actually a concept within EEA Norway grants called green industry innovation. It's a little bit broader than circular economy, but I'll come back to that. Okay, first of all, what's the objectives of the EEA Norway grants? That is to contribute to reducing economic and social disparities in the European Economic Area. European Economic Area is the 28 member states of the European Union, plus the 3 EFTA EEA states, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Another important objective of EEA Norway grants is to strengthen the bilateral relations between the beneficiary states, as they are called, and donors, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. The period we are now in the middle of is called 2014-2021, but the implementation of projects, they take place from 2017 until 2024. So on this map you can see the countries that have business programs. So you can see in total 10 countries out of the 15 beneficiary states, they have chosen to have business development programs. Not less than 4 of them are operated by Innovation Norway: Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, and Greece. The other ones are operated by local entities in the different member states, the beneficiary states. So, of course, you all know that we are in difficult times, so physical matchmakings are not possible for the time being, so that's why we have an event like the one today. But our experience is that that has worked rather well. If we look at the open calls now on green industry innovation, we have in Romania a call for proposals open, with a deadline already on the 17th of September. So if you want to apply under this call, you have not much time left. You have only 2 weeks, so that's perhaps a little bit difficult, but we will have more calls for proposals in Romania at a later stage. Then we have a call in Bulgaria with a deadline of the 30th of September. So then you have a little bit more time. But if you are looking at Lithuania, you have even more time, because then you can have the time up to the 6th of November. You can see the amounts indicated there for what we have now for green industry innovation. And then finally we have Croatia with a deadline of the 15th of November. So these 4 calls are the calls currently open. But we also have more upcoming calls. I don't have the exact amounts, because the calls are under preparation, but we will have new calls on green industry innovation in Greece, Slovakia, Latvia, and perhaps even in Poland and Estonia. I say perhaps because that depends on the assessment of the applications submitted during the first call, if they then will use the total allocation or not. If they will not use the total allocation, we will have second calls also in Poland and Estonia. Well, who can apply? Well, basically the programs, the business programs, the target group is SMEs, but also large companies, but with no more than 25% public ownership, because we don't want state-owned companies to be the target group for the programs. And of course, the applicants need to be established as legal entities, legal persons in the beneficiary states. And normally it's also a requirement that they have some track history. They have been in operation for some years. We don't want to see companies just established to get access to the money. But the program rules differ a little bit, so I really encourage you to read the actual call text in the country that you would like to apply. But as I said, an important objective is the bilateral cooperation. So that means that entities registered in Norway can be partners in the project, both if the program is financed by Norway grants and EEA grants. I will not go into details about the difference, but because it's kind of complicated. But if then the program is financed by EEA grants, also entities from Iceland and Liechtenstein can be partners in the projects. And the partners can be not only companies, it can be different types of entities. We have seen companies, research institutes, universities, NGOs, public institutions. Especially research institutes are very relevant. We can see many projects with then SMEs in the beneficiary states with a partner from the research sector in the donor states, for instance in Norway. I said that green industry innovation is a little bit broader than circular economy. It's basically two main categories of projects that will be financed under green industry innovation. The first is greening of industry, because we know that the beneficiary states from EEA and Norway grants, they have some old-fashioned, outdated industry, and then it's possible to get financing for investment projects to modernize the industry. But we also like to encourage research and development projects, developing new products greener than existing products on the market. This is a complicated thing, because you have to meet some indicators to be eligible for funding. First of all, it's a business program, so we expect to see in all projects that the project will create increased revenues and profitability for the company. But since the concept is green industry innovation, we would like also in addition to see then a better performance as regards the environment from the companies that will get funding. That could be used CO2 emissions, it could be better resource management, better waste handling, and so on. So, and then the outputs, like I said, that would be investments projects and the research and development projects. Some things are very, very important to be aware of. First of all, the business programs are subject to state aid because they are targeting private companies. So it means that the applicants will need to come up with a considerable amount of co-financing. Usually you'll maybe get 50% of the project financed by the program, but the rest you will have to come up with yourself, because we are regional aid, research and development aid. So we will of course also look at the company's financial ability to carry out the projects, and they will have to contribute to the mandatory outputs, outcomes, and the objectives I just mentioned. Yeah, normally 50% of the funding from the green industry innovation. SMEs are the main target group, and the grant rate, as I said, perhaps 50%. It depends on the rules and the regional maps for each and one country. And the selection of projects is based on open calls and competition. Just a couple of examples to show you then the different types of projects. This is a project from Romania in the previous period. Rather well-known Norwegian furniture producer, Stokke, the producer of the trip-trap chair that's maybe some of you have used for your children, or maybe used even for yourself, because it's been 50 years or something now since this come on the market. They had a production partner in Romania, and the quality of the production was not that good. And the Romanian company applied for funding from the business program in Romania and got that in cooperation with Stokke as the partner. And it was a win-win situation because it improved the Romanian company, both their profitability and their environmental performance, but it also helped Stokke to get a better supplier. Another example also for Romania was Kongsberg TeraTech NTNU that had a research and development cooperation developing monitoring of an industrial machine. So that was a research and development project, and they then had a joint ownership of the results from the project. As regards the information, you can find all the call for proposals on the homepage of Innovation Norway. Of course, you will also find the different calls on the homepage of the program operators in the different countries. As I said, Innovation Norway is operating the programs in Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, and Croatia. And since bilateral cooperation is important, I've just mentioned one tool for finding a Norwegian partner, the Explorer, the platform for a marketplace for showing green Norwegian technology. Was launched soon 2 years ago by our Norwegian Prime Minister, and she labeled it Tinder for Businesses. There it's possible to find Norwegian providers of state-of-the-art and very innovative green technology. So take a look if you look for a Norwegian partner. Most programs also have a travel support scheme. Travel support is not very relevant for the time being, but in more other usual times it's a useful tool, because you will get a small amount of money to go to travel and meet your potential partner. I think that's what I had. I've used my time, so I think I will give the floor to Janicke from the Norwegian Research Council, please.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. My name is Janicke Giæver. I work at the Norwegian Research Council, and I'm a senior advisor at the Department of Climate and Environment. And one of my main tasks there is to work as a so-called National Contact Point, NCP, towards EU's framework program Horizon 2020. And we are several persons at the Research Council doing sort of the same tasks as me as national contact points. And we do this work in close collaboration with Innovation Norway, among others. So now I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to the Research Council's work on the circular economy. Okay. Yeah. So the Research Council is currently financing more than 60 projects on the circular economy, and it's just distributed across several funding mechanisms and funding schemes at the Council. We do also, as I mentioned, we do a lot of work on mobilization towards the Horizon framework programs. So we contribute to the Norwegian, to several projects that receives EU funding in Norway. We have currently launched a new main strategy at the Research Council, and the circular economy is certainly an important part of the strategy. We have some very dedicated calls towards the circular economy, and all our calls invite for international collaboration. And there is one such call planned for 2021 so far. It could be more. I also want to mention that we are in sort of an initial planning phase on a new scheme on the circular economy, which will be more cross-cutting in nature. So we will do a lot of work on that now and get back to all of you with more details later on, but just as a sort of a teaser. I would also like to mention that we will arrange a Green Deal matchmaking webinar. The Green Deal, EU's Green Deal, has been mentioned several times here earlier today. And it will start tomorrow and go for 1 week. It's arranged by 3 so-called EU networks, national EU networks, in close collaboration with the Research Council. And it includes a session on the circular economy, which is on Monday, where I also personally will take part. So who's targeted at this matchmaking webinar is mainly Norwegian authorities, NGOs, and research organizations. And it will function both as sort of a matchmaking event, but also a training seminar, where we will give input on how to pitch and how to profile your organization. And the registration is formally closed, but I have been told that you may contact Thea Andresen at KS if you are interested. She might find a place for you. And the contact person at the Research Council is Idun Lyngstad. So then I will sum up my presentation with some contact information for persons at the Research Council who work or may be contacted with questions on the circular economy. And of course, there are more persons at the Council working towards this, but well, this is to make it more simple for you. So then I say thank you very much for your attention, and I will leave the floor to Eva from Innovation Norway. Thank you.
Thank you. As Janicke said, I'm Eva Langslet. I work as an EU advisor and also as a national contact point for Horizon 2020 and the upcoming Horizon Europe. And as we've seen, there are lots of interesting projects already ongoing. But Horizon 2020 and Horizon EU offers a variety of funding opportunities for the still unsolved challenges ahead of us. Today I have a 3-course menu for you, consisting of Fast Track to Innovation, a very short look at the Green Deal calls for circular economy, and the Innovation Fund. Okay, so the first financial instrument that I'm going to introduce you to is the Fast Track to Innovation. One of the nice things about the Fast Track to Innovation is that it's fully bottom-up, meaning that you and your project partners get to decide the scope of the project. This project, or this financial instrument, is suitable for smaller consortia consisting of 3 to 5 partners. It is industry-driven, but it's open to all kinds of innovation actors. And it strongly encourages cross-sectoral collaboration. The purpose of this instrument is to test, demonstrate, and validate your innovation. And you can get up to 3 million euros for your innovation project. But if this sounds like something for you, you better get started working now, because the deadline is already on October 27th. Okay, so as many of the former speakers here today have mentioned, the Green Deal calls are out there any minute now. We know a little bit about what they will contain of. And as mentioned, the Research Council have already had some webinars on the Green Deal calls, which you can watch online, and they still have the upcoming webinars as well. We think that the Green Deal calls are a very good sneak peek of what we can expect from Horizon Europe. So we strongly encourage you to take a look. There will be around 20 topics, of which 2 calls are dedicated to circular economy. those two calls, that will be demonstration of systemic solutions for the territorial deployment of the circular economy. Very cluster-oriented call, focusing on public-private collaboration, while the other is a more technical call, closing the carbon cycle in industry, renewable energy-driven reduction of CO2 using innovative catalytic materials and technologies. All the details will be up at the EU Funding and Tenders portal by 18th of September. The contact point at the Research Council will be happy to help you. We are happy to help you. Don't hesitate to get in touch. I've also been asked by my colleagues at Enova to mention the Innovation Fund, which has open calls now. These are for larger, mature industry projects, focusing on renewable energy, energy-intensive industries, including CCUS, energy storage, and substitute products and cross-cutting industries. For Norwegians watching this live stream, Enova is your contact point regarding this call. Okay, lots of information in very short time. Let's try to sum it up. There are different funding opportunities available, so find one that suits you. Circular economy is a priority for the EU, as we've seen and heard today. The EU needs you and your solutions to the global challenges. And last but not least, help is available. For our international friends, contact your Enterprise Europe Network agency. The Research Council is here, Enova is here, and we from Innovation Norway are, as always, also very happy to help you fulfill your international ambitions on a circular transition. And with that, I leave the floor to my colleague Trine Smukkestad-Lavertvik.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Trine Smukkestad-Lavertvik. I'm also from Innovation Norway, and I work a lot with the Enterprise Europe Network that Eva just mentioned. And we do a lot of things, but the key word is that we help small and medium-sized enterprises to succeed when they want to expand their business abroad, find partners, and get help to crack the codes to enter new markets. So very soon you will be in the driver's seat for the rest of the day. You're up for some digital matchmaking, and I'm just here to give you a few advice on how to get the most out of the next hours and how to succeed and have really good meetings. So still pay attention so you make sure that you get the most out of it. First of all, your meetings will last for 20 minutes. It sounds like quite a lot of time, but I can promise you that time will fly. So, especially when you're on a digital surface, you can't meet your meeting partner afterwards. So, make sure that you have agreed on how you will do a follow-up before the meeting ends. And the time will show in the upper corner of the meeting room. So just keep an eye on that to keep track of time. And once the meeting is finished, you have to close the meeting room and enter into a new digital meeting room. So I will give you a few tips on how to succeed with your meetings. So first of all, maybe you should agree on who goes first. And then you should give a short introduction and a short story on why and how your team will be a great resource in a potential project. And then give a brief introduction about what is the challenge you want to solve. So you do that before you present your product or solution. And then you jump into introducing your product or solution. and how it creates value and adds value to the project. Like Magnar mentioned, that's really important, that the project have to create value in the receiver country and also in Norway. And of course, ask questions and be curious. Once you've told your meeting partners about your the issues or the challenges you want to solve in your great solution, leave the table to your meeting partner, but ask some questions along the way just to see if you're aligned and have a good potential to forward a cooperation. And like I already mentioned, before the meeting ends, I highly encourage you to agree on which tool to use on the road forward, especially if you decide to do a follow-up. You should agree on which digital platform you want to use and also when your next meeting will take place. So after the meeting, do a follow-up and do it quite fast, maybe within a week, if you agreed on doing a follow-up. And keep in touch on a regular basis, as you can't travel as you're used to now, maybe, the new normal. You have to make sure that you work on this on a regular basis to build on your ideas and see if you can land a great project proposal. And this can be done also digitally, of course. So like I already mentioned, the digital platform for your next meeting, you can also choose a digital platform for your collaboration. So somewhere where you can both work on shared documents, etc. And during the matchmaking, check the latest version of your meeting schedule in the B2Match system. And make sure that you actually finish the meeting on time, so you show up for your next meeting on time. And show up to all the meetings that you have booked to respect other participants' time as well. And if you see that you can't make it to a meeting that you have set up, you can cancel it yourself by going into the B2Match system and delete it. And then your participant will get a notification. And if you do get some sort of problems, technical issues, or maybe your meeting partner doesn't show up, you can contact our support staff. His name is Henrik, and he's around here working in the background, and he will be there for you the whole evening until the matchmaking ends. And you can reach him by email. And you already got this, but you can write it down again if you can't find that email. It's henrik.frølumstad.jensen@innovasjonnorge.no. Or you can also use innovationnorway.no. It will reach him anyways. So that's it. The matchmaking starts at 3 p.m. 5:00. So now you can take a break, and then it's time to get ready. And I wish you the best of luck. And I hope I will also see you at some other matchmakings later. So everyone have a really great evening. Thank you.